through space. Make
There
it
we go.
weird. I always got to make it weird or it wouldn't be me. So good morning, everyone. Welcome. But today is actually Sunday, March 13th. I will keep us on the same or on the right day and time. 2022. We did have our time change, so bear with us. We still think it's an hour later than it is, but welcome to Sunday Morning Grace with me, Reverend Jamila Jamie, and our beautiful, beautiful Reverend Marianne. How are you this morning?
I am wonderful, thank you, and good morning. And we're still an hour behind.
That's it. We're
So
getting there. We're getting there.
that's
But
all right. Yeah, and that's par for the course. And I'm sure all of you who are listening live or joining us live are right there with us. If you're here in the U.S. where we had that time change, and if not, yours is coming.
yeah. I won't whine about it. Rather than whine about it, I will actually ask you, Marianne, if you would like to get us started with an opening blessing. I think that's a better use of our time this morning.
Absolutely. So what I would invite everyone to do is just close your eyes and just breathe into the space and breathe into the now. Whether you're half awake, fully awake, or ready to go to bed. And just know that wherever you're at right now is absolutely perfect. And just know that you are supported and embraced and loved beyond measure, beyond our wildest imaginations. I'm being reminded that in the most challenging of times, we're being carried by the divine, by the angels, by all of those energies that make up this great universe. And at the times that we're happy, we're joyful, the celebration is going on with those same beings, that they are always a part of what we are a part of. And they always want us to feel their loving support, their loving presence, their loving love. And with that, it's time to just bring our focus to right now, to listen to the words of wisdom that will come to us through the divine to be shared with all of you. Take it in. Listen to what it is. Let it germinate, let it grow, and see where it takes you. Because I'm hearing the journey is going to be magical. Blessed be.
Blessed be. I'm all for a magical journey. It will happily take a magical journey.
Yeah. So this month's theme is, get the exact wording because I don't want to mess it up. Following your guidance and aligning with your inner voice. And one of the thoughts that came to me this morning as I was thinking about this is, what does your inner voice sound like? Do you know when it's your inner voice versus your ego? Mm-hmm. So, Jamie, what does your inner voice sound like?
A hot mess.
It's because the ego is in there conflicting with it.
Right. And it's funny. I hear it many ways. Some days, and this is why I love, when we go, focusing on the clairsenses so much, so that we really can hone in and strengthen and remember. I feel like, to me, they actually help us remember our inner voice, right? What we hear, what we see, what we feel. And I know we always think of voices speak, but for me, my intuitive voice, maybe it speaks many languages, because it speaks through feeling, it speaks through hearing, it speaks through seeing, it speaks through that, that intuitive knowing. And, this morning, as we were pulling our rocks, and for our tenants, I had pulled I am compassionate in every moment. And I'm starting with this because I really find that, especially for me personally, I can be hard on myself, which can fog, or muffle, right, my inner voice. I can't hear it as clearly because I'm too busy telling myself things about myself that I shouldn't, or, questioning myself. But when I stop and I make room and I allow that space for compassion, and compassion with myself in every moment, even compassion with others in every moment, right? So I'm not getting frustrated. I'm not going into the space where, when we like zing or like, and then immediately again, it can muffle. So sometimes I hear, sometimes I feel, sometimes I just know. And sometimes, it's just that gut knowing that, something is or isn't for me, if I'm safe, if I'm not. It can sometimes be hard to differentiate, like, is this me just, what I call needing to put down my purse, and my purse is my bag of anxiety. I realize I carry a purse because the purse, and the purse is a metaphor, right? But it's my go-to. It's my thing that I can, um, oh boy, we're gonna hold space that my thing doesn't ping away. I forgot to mute my notifications. But it's like that thing that we can hold on to, or like, right, it's our go-to. For me, rather than trust and surrender and know that everything's well, everything's all good, I would tend to put myself in a dance with anxiety, right? So my purse was anxiety. My purse was, self-criticism, or what I could, or, shoulda, coulda, woulda done when things were already beyond me doing. So, just really allowing for that space of compassion, allowing myself to put down my purse, so that again, I am able to just hear and be like, okay, is this my old go-to, or is this really me? And it takes time and it takes practice. At least in my case, it did. It wasn't an overnight thing. And I'm grateful, obviously, for human design, because I know, through human design, right, the way that I'm wired to best make the correct decisions for me and my highest good. So I just really practiced and worked on that, like getting in touch with what's the way, how do I get the answers that are most right for me? And in that, I was aligning more again with the things that were for me. So it took a lot of that stress and that pressure off. It allowed me to put the purse down more. And as I did, that's when I was like, wow, like, I don't know, just that intuition just being so spot on when we're able to just be more clear, have more of a quietness within us, even if we have to do things sometimes that we don't want to. But even in that, when I know that even if it's not what I want to do, but I know I'm doing the right thing, it's still kind of, there's nothing there to question or really, talk to myself about, because I know I did the right thing for me. And it's funny, and people are like, you're so intuitive. How did you know that? How do but it's like, I listen to that. I listen to my inner voice, which for me is my intuition. I follow it. I don't question it. It's proven itself pretty on point. It always, so, now it's a lot easier, but I've been in this for a very long time. So for those of you that might be newer on your journey, or, just honing in on your intuitive senses, don't get discouraged. It just takes time and it takes practice. And sometimes we get it wrong, but even knowing if we quote unquote get it wrong, we're really not. There's always something in every moment for us. So, it doesn't mean you can't trust yourself. It doesn't mean that you can't listen to your guidance. It just means that maybe you missed what was actually really there. I really don't ever think there's a wrong in things, because we can always gain something from it. But anyhow, that's my long ramble of how I have having a collective inner voice. It's multilingual or multilingual, and it speaks to me in different ways. But again, I just find that, for me, the main thing is just being clear, staying compassionate, and just trusting it.
And I think it's true. We all have that multifaceted inner voice, because when we're talking about our internal voice, it's not always here. It should be here. And I feel mine here, but I also feel it in my gut. But the head is usually the one that's the ego voice. And where I find I've really had to work, and over time, I've gotten better. I'm not perfect, but I've gotten better at saying, is this my head talking? Or is this my gut? Is this my heart that's speaking to me? And sometimes there's a little bit of both, because it's a battle and who's going to win, but there's a little bit of truth coming not only from my inner voice, but from the ego voice as well, saying, but you have to be logical, you have to think it through. So it's that finding that balance. What is it that I know to be true, that the ego is giving me as factual information, versus all of this, but this is what feels right. And it's almost like the voice doesn't have a sound so much as it has a feeling. And it's striking that balance, and sometimes choosing to go with the ego voice with the expectation of being ready to pivot. And you talked about pulling the tenant for the month, as we joined our tenants, and the one I picked was "It's All Good," and that really fits with how I follow my guidance, how I align with that inner voice. Perfect example is back in January when Krista had her latest heart attack. I sensed my gut was telling me something was up. My head was also saying to me, her coloring isn't good. She's showing some of the classic symptoms, but yet she was insisting that I go to an appointment and I leave her. And that inner voice was taking all that factual information, but following my intuition and saying, she's a big girl and I have to do this for her. And sure enough, as I pulled up in front of, I was going to get my hair done, and as soon as I pulled up in front of the salon, I get a phone call from her that you have to come home. So there was a bit of truth in both. She was okay, but in that short time, things changed. But there was a lesson in that she can do what she needs to do for herself and ask for help when she needs it. And that I can not be physically sitting next to her, holding her hand to be able to give her the help she needs. So while I don't like to keep harping on what goes on in my personal life, it's a real life story about how it is all good and how that tenet comes into play, and how really kind of aligning that ego voice, or that knowing voice, that factual voice, with that inner voice, how they mesh so beautifully. And we don't always get it right, but in that there are so many beautiful lessons that if you pay attention to the lesson, the next time it's easier. And so it's not a case of right or wrong. It's a case of, so what did I do? How did I grow from this experience? And it's learning what value to give each of those pieces, that factual and that ego voice, because the ego voice is, but you're her mother, you need to take care of her. The factual voice was, these things are going on, but this is what's in her best interest, is to allow her that independence. And then the gut was telling me, but it ain't going to happen anyway. So, meshing the three, sometimes not fun, but it ends up being okay. And that is, that's one of my favorite sayings. In the end, everything's going to be okay. So if it's not okay, it's not the end.
Right.
So, and, I don't want that end to ever come. I just want to know it's okay. So
I love that. I'm have to write that one down and throw it into my quotes by Marianne.
that's not mine, though. I can't claim credit for it. It's just a saying that I found along the way that just applies so well.
I love that. I love that, though. I need to remember that, you know. I love it. But don't go creating not okay. So you keep
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Don't swing it the other way as well. But no, I love that though. I genuinely love that. And I do love that when you share, you know, through your life experiences, because it's real, you know. And I think sometimes, you know, we take classes or we, you know, listen to these speakers and gurus and be your own guru, but I won't go there today. I'm just saying, because it's different for all of us. And the way that we learn how it's right for us is through example of real life, I feel. You know, so I can tell you all day long, oh, you know, do this, do this, do that. But if you don't put it in, like to me anyway, like for those of us that need to see it, like how, what, you know, I love when you share your examples because it's real. And, you know, I mean, unfortunately, it's very extreme at times. Like it's very, very real. It's very intense. It's very scary. And yet it shows how, you know, you can still move through that, like, right, you trust it's all good and you move through it with grace and compassion and balance, even when it's crazy, you know, and it's like, oh my gosh, like I, you know, but like there's still just this grace that you maneuver with, and you show us how it can be done by following our intuition, you know, trusting ourselves, you know, balancing, going through the logic, the gut, like, you know, what is it, you know, like it's just so, I just feel like it's still just beautiful to share with people, to give them like, okay, this is how it plays out when, you know, poo is really going down. Like this is what it looks like for me. And you know, so there's like a real life tangible model that people can put into place. So I actually, and I like when you share. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And my mother always was a firm believer in, you know, I can tell you till the sun goes down, you know, not to do something, but the way you're really going to learn it is when you do it anyway and you fall down.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that scraped knee, or you remember the hurt that you felt, the emotional hurt. And that's really the way we learn, is from experiencing it. But then we hear, you know, then we go back to, oh, I heard this story, you know, or mom told me not to do that. You know, this is what might happen. And, you know, it's all good because in the end, we've taken the lessons that we've been taught along with the pain or the experience that we've had. And it comes into a beautiful, logical lesson. And I think we're all students in the school of life. And, you know, if we've learned all the lessons, then life is really kind of boring. So
I was muted, but yes.
So I'm always open to growing. And so, you know, my inner voice, I trust it, but I sometimes I need to fall down to be able to pick myself back up and say, okay, I won't try that again.
Yeah, I won't do that one again. Right? Sorry, my lighting is very weird here. There we go.
Oh, we just got a spotlight on Jamila.
I know. I felt like I was, yeah. It was very weird here, but
so I feel complete. Do you?
I do too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'd like to invite everybody who's listening, whether you're listening now live, whether you're listening to us on the recording later, share with us, how have you aligned with your inner voice? Where have you succeeded? Where have you fallen down? What have you learned? Share with us, so we can all learn and grow and share along with you. So, and as always, want to just remind everybody, anything you need, Jamila, Jamie, and I can be of service to you, or any of our reverends here. We're always here for you.
That's right. And we love to be. So, like, please, like, and you keep us out of trouble when you do that.
We try.
Keep us occupied, you know.
Although a little bit of trouble here and there is always fun too. Keeps things interesting.
Absolutely.
Quick reminder, Reverends Carolyn and Dawn will be with you next week to continue the discussion and share their viewpoints on our monthly topic. And are we ready to move into tennis?
We are. I'm sorry. I'm laughing because I turned that light on and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't see. And I pulled my glasses. My glasses are so filthy. No wonder. So I'm sorry. So I was sitting here like laughing at myself because I was like, oh, I'm blind. I'm not. My glasses are just dirty. Don't worry.
We just have to make them rose colored.
Right. I'm going to put down my purse and remind myself I'm not blind. I just need to clean my glasses when I get off. Oh my goodness.
Right.
And with that, inviting you all, if you're guided, to place your hands over your heart, taking a nice deep breath in as we get ready to read our tenets and just start this beautiful new week of possibilities. A lot of good out there in the world if we're able to allow ourselves to see it, even amidst the things that that may not look so good right now. Just always keep your eye for the miracles, right? And with that, I open my heart with deep gratitude and intend today to master my spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical energies. I am dedicated to my spiritual practice. I surrender to my soul's purpose through sacred prayer. I own my guidance.
I live in partnership with my angels. I serve with a loving heart. I am compassionate in every moment.
I trust it's all good. I allow immediate forgiveness. I honor my truth.
I listen to the spiritual messages within my physical body. I express myself creatively. I am one with Mother Earth. And so it is.
And so it is, and so it shall be. And as we walk through this beautiful new week, this beautiful new day, this beautiful new opportunity, may we see with the divine's eyes. May we speak the words of love like the divine. May our hearts be full again of divine love. And as we walk forward, may everything we touch with love. And everywhere we step, may we leave that legacy of love. And if you feel lost, look for the miracle and you'll find it. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Thank you, as usual. Always a wonderful way to wake up on a Sunday morning.
I know, wake up, and I feel like, oh, I need to wake up again. Sorry.
And obviously with all of our beautiful community.
Currently caffeinating.
I know, I have to go caffeinate now.
Yeah.
So have a blessed week. Have a blessed month. Let us know if we can be of service to you.
Yes. Reach out. Chat with us. We're pretty cool to just hang out with and talk to, so at least we like to think we are. So just chat with us, chat it up. Let us know how you are.
And after all, it's all good.
That's right.
Love you all.
Love you all.
Bye.
Bye.